This week's topic comes from Lacey from Dutch Bros Sacramento, who wanted to know how to find clarity. If you have a question or a topic, like Lacey did, comment below or DM me on Instagram. I'm Angela, and this is me making sense of myself. Let's do this. Okay, what did you create more of in the last month when you found clarity? I created closer bonds with people. And I know that because, well, I asked questions in order to clarify. I'm wondering what did it look like, and I'm thinking through. In one situation, I needed to be really patient. I'm used to just talking with people normal, and I made a new friend who is deaf, and I needed to slow everything down. And as I slowed everything down and waited, I realized that sometimes my first thought is not always the right answer. And if I really stay present and listen to what they're saying, and kind of let go of my thoughts, so focusing on my breathing, letting go of my thoughts, then I can gain more clarity. How might I have known it was better to do that? I don't think I knew. I think I just really wanted to connect with this person because they seemed really cool. And, they had like that a little bit of a magnetic personality. Like, okay, well, you're either going to like me or not. And, come hang out or not. It's cool. Either way, I'll still like you type of thing. But I think my way of slowing it down was better and recognizing the challenges that might happen because we literally speak two different languages, and that was really important. A lot of times I don't think about that. I think anyone who knows ASL also knows English, but that's not true. It's usually English or whatever language, regardless of what sign language they know, is usually a second language. It's important, why is it, I've got a list of questions I'm looking to. Why is it important for me to improve in finding clarity? And I think because when I take the time to find clarity, I feel more confident. I have better relationships, and I think I communicate better because I'm not as stressed. When I used to just assume that I knew what people were saying, and I would inevitably get it wrong. Not all the time, but I would assume that I understood instead of clarifying, or I would think that there was an expectation that I should know what they're saying. When I stopped doing that, my relationships got better. And like I said, I felt more confidence. I actually had more peace because now I didn't need to know the answer ahead of time. We could find it together. I was reading Hidden Potential by Adam Grant, and I think it's in there where he says something to the effect of, there's usually, like one smart person, and well, there's always more than one smart person in the room, but we are smarter together. So when I try to remember that perspective, then me looking for clarity actually usually helps them find clarity too, which is really, really interesting to watch. It's like we come together and create it together. So the next question was like, why is changing that important? Why is it important for me to go from confused or assuming like I know what should happen to finding clarity so that I know what my next best step is? And I think that's important so that I'm not just like bumping around in the world. I'm going to bump around in the world anyway. And I think it's really important to know what's the right path for me, right? Because all these other people might be able to say, well, you should take this path, or you should take that path, or whatever it is. But if I don't have that clarity in me, to know, ooh, this is the path I need to take, because it doesn't seem to matter what path is taken. There's going to be challenges. And when I choose the path that I think I need to take, or that I know, it's a lot easier to weather those challenges. So what's one thing I did to find clarity when I was confused? I meditated. No doubt about it. It is really, really important to me to quiet my mind and hear what needs to be said. Sometimes when I'm confused and I think I need to go one way, I actually need to go another way. So my head, I call this like my head-heart situation, my head-heart dilemma, maybe? Maybe that's a good word. Maybe that's a good title. My head might think I need to go this way, and my heart might think I need to go this way. But I can't reconcile that until I get quiet enough to hear what's happening inside of me, right? And when I get quiet enough to hear what's happening inside of me, then things can change and I can get to that knowing that I was talking about earlier. And that takes a lot of effort. The question I'm looking at is, what effort and time did I put in? I would say I put in many, many hours of meditation. I already meditate, I think, a minimum of 3 hours a day. And I put in more because I didn't know what to do. And that was actually really helpful. It wasn't always comfortable. So being in meditation is not always going to be comfortable. And yet it does help me find clarity. So I guess I'm willing to pay that price a little bit to find that clarity. So what did others have more of when I found clarity and was less confused? I think they had more of my presence. And what I mean by that was I was in the present and I was able to appreciate them in the moment. Sometimes I think for me, I think we all do that. I know we all do this. Our brains do this. So our brains will tell stories about what's happening or who people are and, what has happened in our world. And neurobiologists has found out that it's not usually true, right? It's just how we chose to interpret what was happening. So I think what happened is that others ended up getting more of my genuine, present, unconditional love for who they were in that moment and not who I was trying to make them be based on my experience or my history, or basically the stories I was telling myself about things they did that might have hurt me or injured me. And that's pretty cool that I could find that clarity like that, because it literally changed how I even interpreted things that were going on in the moment. And I was able to stay a lot more relaxed. And wow, I don't think I didn't get into fight or flight mode, which was really cool. That was really cool. That was awesome. So that's something maybe you can look forward to by finding your own clarity. And what does my ability to find clarity build hope for in the future? Well, I think it builds hope that I can get into those situations that maybe are uncomfortable and confusing, and I can use my tools. So I can meditate and I can work on staying present and I can use my breath so that I can weather those storms. Because those storms are going to happen even if I don't want them to, right? Like, I can try to avoid challenges in life, and yet challenges are just going to happen because they're part of life. So if I can stay present and in that clarity, it's super helpful. So I would love to hear from you. How do you find clarity when things are confusing, when life is confusing? So I'm Angela, and this is me making sense of myself.